Welcome back, everybody, to the Gamecock talk on this channel. But I missed last week, unfortunately, the biggest week of the season where we upset the Texas A&M Aggies, and we got ranked over the weekend. And now Missouri beats us for the fourth straight year in a row, and undoubtedly this was probably the biggest loss and the most gut-wrenching loss of the Shane Beamer era. We just couldn't get anything going offensively. Defensively, bad start. They allowed Missouri, they went 3 and out, so they had a couple plays there at the beginning of the game where they were successful. Missouri just kind of, they methodically drove the ball down the field in that first half multiple times. They gave themselves a lot of time of possession. They made it easy for their offense to get downfield and get the plays that they wanted to make, and that was the biggest thing, the reason why this Gamecock team lost. But the defense came out in that second half, and they played well. Held them to 6 points the entire second half. Unfortunately, the offense just couldn't capitalize. Spencer Rattler finished the day 20 of 30, 171 yards, 1 interception. Marshawn Lloyd, 7 carries, 30 yards. He got injured right around halftime, and he really didn't get anything going in that second half. I believe he only got 1 target the entire second half. And just a tough loss. I do think this one wasn't, like a gimme. It seemed like maybe the team let that Texas A&M win go to their head just a little bit. It let them, kind of put their guard down. They were complacent, and they really let Missouri give a very, very good start that held on the rest of the way through. I was confident going into that second half. I have to tell you the truth. After that touchdown run by Rattler at halftime, it's 17-7. We've got a chance still. And they just came out flat in the second half. The offense, passing-wise, screen after screen after screen on a 3rd and 18. Why are we running a screenplay is my biggest question. That's a very confusing call if you ask me. Sometimes, sure, they break open for big gains, but this offense has no depth to their passing game. It seems to be, it's either a screen or we're throwing it up there and hoping our guy can make a play in double, triple coverage. And of course, it happens a few times. Austin Stogner made a great play. Josh Vann had a good play where he continued to move around. He got open for Spencer Rattler, who, mentioning Rattler, he just had a rough day. Not the best statistical day for him, obviously. He did have the 1 rushing touchdown at half, but, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Finally, he's got 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the season. Probably the most disappointing showing for a guy like Rattler today against a defense that statistically hasn't been that great this year. They, of course, looked amazing against us. We just made them look good. But Rattler also didn't have much time to throw. This defensive line of Missouri, they've struggled all year. Honestly, out of their defensive, their core defense parts, their defensive line was the weakest part coming into this game. And they made our offensive line look absolutely terrible. They got to Spencer Rattler at will, no matter what the play was, no matter when they wanted to get to him. As soon as he snapped the ball, they were there. If we wanted to hand it off, they were right there to stop them. And it was really difficult for Rattler to get any type of momentum, really difficult for them to get any offensive momentum at all the entire game. If you look at the time of possession, Missouri had 36 minutes compared to our 23 minutes, so not a good recipe for success if you're a Gamecock fan. And unfortunately for us, we're not going to be ranked anymore, obviously. 25th was nice while it lasted. I still think, we're a couple years away from, or maybe a year at least, away from being a consistently ranked team. It was a nice gain to get there, or a nice climb to get to that height, but we just didn't look prepared for this game. Rattler said it himself in the post-game press conference. They just weren't ready. They don't prepare in the off weeks. They don't prepare in the days in between games, and something they have to work at and get better at, because yes, for sure, this is probably an outlier. We don't play this bad typically the entire game every week. Usually we come out a little bad in the first half. We get better in the second half. That didn't happen today, so you can count on that for the most part the next few weeks. But at the same time, they have to be able to get ready. They have to be able to prepare and get points in that first half. Yes, the last couple weeks we've had some big wins. South Carolina State, Charlotte, 2 teams that we should beat, 2 teams that we dominated. Then we go to Kentucky. They've got their backup quarterback in. our special teams and defense took advantage of that, causing a turnover on the first play of the game, blocking a punt, all of that stuff. We go to Texas A&M. We have 17 points after a kick return, interception, fumble recovery. 17 points in the first 5 minutes without 20 yards of offense. So our offense hasn't had to do much at all the last 2 weeks to get those big wins, those big SEC wins. And now sitting at 5-3, losing 23-10 against Missouri, it looks like we might be in a very bad spot. We go against Vanderbilt next week. Right now, it sits at about a 7-point favorite for the Gamecocks. Unfortunately for us, I don't know if that's going to continue climbing. I have a feeling it's probably going to come down a little bit around a 5 to 4 point margin of favoritism towards the Gamecocks. But unfortunately, our offense just looks pitiful. They haven't gotten anything going the last few weeks. Like I said, they haven't needed to until yesterday. No turnovers for the Gamecocks. One fumble, or no turnovers got taken away from Missouri for the Gamecocks. They had the one fumble there, and then the interception late in the game. Both of those by Rattler, obviously. And you've got to think after this game, Christian Beal-Smith, a guy who at Wake Forest was a dominant force. He was that starter there for a long time and just barely touches the ball, barely gets anything going on offense. The only running back that gets anything going is basically Marshawn Lloyd, and once he went down, our running game was non-existent yesterday, and not like it was doing great beforehand, but it still was better than it was once he went down, obviously. Receiving-wise, just not a lot of love there. Excuse me. Antoine Wells, 7 for 52. Xavier Legette had 2 nice screen plays where he was able to break into the open field. Austin Stogner, 4 for 63. Outside of that, probably the most disappointing thing, Jaheim Bell didn't touch the ball a single time. You can visibly see, he's frustrated. Spencer Rattler in the post-game press conference was frustrated. Jaheim Bell's parents on Twitter are openly frustrated. Gamecock fans in general are frustrated right now because this is a terrible loss. You really needed this one to get that confidence and keep that momentum going. But if you have to pick something bright out of it, we're still sitting at 5-3, and we've got a chance next week to solidify a bowl appearance and what could likely be our last win of the season. We've got a tough schedule after that. You've got Florida, Clemson, and Tennessee. Not in that order. It goes Florida, Tennessee, Clemson. Obviously, we played Clemson last week, so just not a good recipe for success if you're a Gamecocks fan yesterday. Got to get your playmakers the ball more. Got to be more consistent on defense, but they did great in that second half, only allowing 6 points on 2 very lucky field goals. Might I add, a 50-yard field goal that just curves in, and then a field goal that donks off the upright into the field goal. So, that's just unluckiness right there. But still, just a bad way to lose this game. The Gamecocks fall to 5-3 on the season. I'm excited to see what they can do next week, but I think it might be time to look into changing the quarterback, changing the offensive coordinator. Give Doty a chance. Give Gautier a chance. Give someone a chance there and get rid of Satterfield out of that coordinating group, because obviously he's not getting the job done. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about what the Gamecocks should do this season. Obviously, there's a lot of you fans out there, so if you have any serious thoughts, comment down below or go vote on my poll on the community post that I made just a little bit ago. I would love to see your guys' interaction there. Thank you all for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe if you did enjoy. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.